Good day everyone, I am Kimberly Kansana and our topic for today is all about teaching rules. So let's proceed to our objectives. At the end of the lesson, students will be able to first, identify the rules of a teacher, second, enumerate the rules of a teacher, and last, explain each rules. Okay, so what are the rules of a teacher? So the rule or the responsibility of a teacher inside the classroom is to provide classroom instruction that helps students learn, and to accomplish this, teacher must design successful lessons. So teacher performs multifaceted rules whether inside or outside the classroom. They are expected to function in different capacities. It is in this premise that educational experts came up with this additional list. So first is teacher as a community link. The teacher participates actively in the life of the community, interprets the school program to the public, brings parents to participate in school activities, and utilizes the resources of the community to develop significant application of subject matter. The teacher engages in community life, explains the curriculum to the public, invites parents to join in school events, and make use of the community's resources to produce meaningful subject matter application. Teacher encourages parents and other adults to be involved in schools as well as give ideas to better link between schools and home. Teachers who became involved in the community also come to understand it better, which helps them address the needs of their students more effectively. Second is teacher as a counselor. The teacher establishes effective relationship with the individual student, collects pertinent information about each student, guides student in understanding himself, gives advice, and assist students in finding solutions to their own problems. So the teacher establishes a positive relationship with each student, gathers relevant information about each student, guides students in understanding themselves, provides advice, and assists students in solving their own problems. Teacher has the main responsibility in counseling and orientation, being given the fact that he or she spends a long time in the presence of students, so that observes them in many contexts and teacher can supervise them better. Third is teacher as a decision maker. The teacher decides on the objectives that should be established, the type of instructional program that could best achieve the objectives, the body of information that should be conveyed, the most effective methods, techniques, approaches, and materials that would facilitate the attainment of the objectives, and the most appropriate grouping that would best benefit the learner. So the teacher determines the objectives to be established, the type of instructional program that will best achieve the objectives, the body of information to be conveyed, the most effective methods, techniques, approaches, and materials that will aid in the attainment of the objectives, and the most appropriate grouping that will best benefit the learner. Teacher as one of the important stakeholders in schools' decision-making processes. Teachers are important stakeholders because they are the ones who are at the critical level since they deal directly with the learners. Fourth is teacher as a director of learning. The teacher plans and organizes activities, leads students through the learning episodes, control the whole learning situations, and appraises the effectiveness of the learning situations. So the instructor prepares and arranges learning activities, guides students through learning episodes, supervises the entire learning situation, and evaluates the learning situation's efficacy. The teacher provides advice and guidance and helps students clarify ideas and limit tasks. This role can be a great way to pay individual attention to the student. However, it can also lead to a student becoming too independent or even too comfortable with one teacher and one method or style of teaching. Fifth is teacher as an information processor. The teacher analyzes information and events and makes it learnable, facilitates its comprehension, interprets them to learners, and communicates them in a manner that students can comprehend. The instructor analyzes material and events to make them understandable, facilitates their comprehension, interprets them for students, and presents them in a way that they can understand. If teacher prioritizing the information that they give to the students, they help students to work out the critical elements of information. Include lesson time for repetition and review of information, present material in a very clear manner, and focus on the meaning of information. Sixth is teacher as a judge of achievement. The teacher defines the ability levels of students, evaluates students' level of achievement based on standards, and determines who will be promoted or retained. The instructor selects who will be promoted or retained by defining students' ability levels, evaluation students' levels of success against standard, and determining who will be promoted or retained. Teachers play a very important role in assessments. This will be constructive feedback in helping students detect their strengths and weaknesses. Teacher assessment can provide information about learning processes as well as outcomes. That assessment by teachers gives more valid indication of pupils' achievement. So, 7 is teacher as a knower. The teacher knows much about the general fields of knowledge, thoroughly masters the subject matter of his field of specialization, brings learners to the world of ideas, provides accurate information to students, and readily answers the students' question. Teacher as knower introduces pupils to the world of ideas, offers correct information, and promptly answers their inquiries. The teacher fulfills this function in bringing the curricular plan to life. The success of the approved, well-written, and planned curriculum will be determined by the teacher's implementation. 8 is teacher as a mediator of culture. The teacher articulates social, political, and economic traditions, develop cultural values, transmit culture, and enriches cultural growth of students. The teacher articulates social, political, and economic traditions, as well as developing culture and enriching pupils' cultural evolution. The teacher as an evaluator is a mediator between the students and their productions. The teacher provides their students with clear insights into their progression, storing files of their work, defining their weak and stronger points to help them come to terms with their learning and cognitive style. 9 is teacher as a model for the youth. The teacher amplifies the scholarship and ideals valued by society and demonstrates acceptable sets of values. The instructor exemplifies the scholarship and principles that society appreciates, as well as demonstrating acceptable morals. Teachers being role model includes showing students how to make sense of the world and express different ideas in a peaceful way. This can model for students how they should act when they speak with others and how to actively listen to others' point of view. 10 is teacher as a moralist. The teacher envelopes a functional moral and ethical code, creates acceptable moral atmosphere, and establishes norms for behavior within and outside the classroom. The teacher creates an appropriate moral and establishes norms for behavior both within and outside the classroom by enveloping a functional moral and ethical code. The teachers teach students the moral values and behaviors and act as a role model for showing students the desirable characters and traits in the school and also the society. They also teach students to respect the rights of other person and teach them about the acceptance of responsibility for one's action. 11. Teacher as a person of culture. The teacher possesses a broad general cultural education, demonstrates adequate skills in the use of language, is well informed of current development in various fields of science, and appreciates arts and literature. The instructor has a comprehensive general cultural education, adequate language skills, is up to date on current scientific advancements, and likes the arts and literature. A teacher can establish a partnership relationship between cultural institutions and a school when supported by a culturally educated management. It is also important for a teacher to be acquainted with the internet, which enables him to build cultural partnership relations with students, cultural institutions, and parents. 12 is, or the last one is, teacher as a pioneer of the world of ideas. The teacher carries students to new insights and knowledge, leads children to wide-ranging and unlimited inquiry, and develops new ideas and practices to meet the demands of the time. The teacher guides pupils to new understanding and knowledge, encourages youngsters to engage on broad and restricted inquiry, and develops new ideas and methods to fulfill the needs of the period.